Ladies and gentlemen, we are live for today's event. Today is the continuation of our Leather Technology and Trade Online Summit. Of course, my name is Victor Nyebado. I'm still your host for this evening. This evening, we are dealing with automating your footwear production process. Or we are using footwear production as a case study. Many of the ideas that we're going to be sharing here, you can also replicate in other aspects of leather work. And no, we have such an eminent personality with us today in the person of Mr. Adamu Usman, or Alaji Adamu Usman, who is the CEO of Yasko Footwear Technology. Like I always say, Yasko is a trailblazer in the footwear industry. And by the time we are done with today's event, you would understand why I say so. Before I call on Oga Yasko to, give his opening remarks and really drill down into his presentation, I would like to play a video presentation of, what we think of Yasko Footwear Technology.
Of shoemaking processes. At the Leather Tech and Trade Online Summit, Yasko will speak on how to automate your shoemaking processes using locally sourced equipment without breaking bank. Register now. Yasko Footwear Technology. Yasko is simply put the shoemaker's shoemaker. Operating out of Kaduna in northern Nigeria, this outfit has trained and mentored hundreds of shoemakers all across the nation. Yasko has also blazed the trail in automation and industrialization of shoemaking processes. At the Leather Tech and Trade Online Summit, Yasko will speak on how to automate your shoemaking processes using locally sourced equipment without breaking bank.
So, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. I have the honor and singular privilege to introduce to you Mr. Adamu Usman, the CEO of Yasko Footwear Technology. He's here with us today and he's going to be dealing with how to automate your footwear production processes. Oga Yasko, over to you, sir.
Okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, if you are from Nigeria. My name is Adamu Usman. I'm the CEO of Yasko Footwear Technology. I have more than 20 years experience in footwear production. Our today's presentation is idea for automating footwear production process. And next slide.
Okay.
Yeah. As you know, some of the shoemaking machineries are specialized equipment used in the manufacturing process of footwear. They help in automating and streamlining various tasks involved in shoe production. Automating footwear production process can lead to efficiency, reduce costs, and improve product consistency. So we are going to speak about, next slide. We are going to speak about how to automate your footwear production process in line with footwear manufacturing flowchart. You understand? And in the footwear production, flowchart, we have product research and development, designing and pattern, clicking and cutting, then closing. Some people might call it closing or stitching department. Then lasting and making, finishing, trimming or showroom. And let's start with product research. This is the process of researching on the type of footwear you want to venture into or the production line. Having knowledge of the right equipment, machine, access to raw material for production, etc. And product development is the process of designing new style or adopting existing or previous one, and then specifying the materials and components, providing the equipment, and detailing the method and production to be followed in order to produce the style in bulk. And if you know, the technology has changed, like the automating product research and development in footwear involve utilizing technologies such as 3D and prototyping. Like the Oyibo people, let me say the advanced country, use they have now, they don't use the kind of the way we do our own patterns. They do it in 3D formula and prototyping before design is out. So next slide. Designing and pattern cutting. This section shows how a designer's idea are interpreted by pattern cutter who produce the sectional pattern for production. So the pattern cutter is in charge of cutting the sectional pattern. So pattern cutting is the foundation of all subsequent shoemaking operation. It is essential. That is why all patterns should be 100% accurate. Any inaccurate at this stage can cause problem in all footwear production process or the factory. So in abroad or in the advanced country, pattern cutting is a division of labor. It's a profession of its own. You understand? But you know, in this our world or in Nigeria, we almost do everything ourselves. But in advanced world, you have somebody that specializes on pattern cutting. That is what he do. And the process of automating your pattern, he can use 3D and prototyping before they start mass producing. So next slide. Here are some of the some common automated and manual shoemaking machines and their usage. I told you we are going to start according to footwear production flowchart. So we are starting with cutting. So it is a machine used for cutting shoe components such as leather, synthetic material, fiber, insole, lining, etc. with the aid of a cutting dice. That is what some people will call it a clicking knife. The cutting is done either mechanically or manual. So we have some of the machine display here, like a hydraulic cutting machine. You understand? This one, if you want to automate the machine, that is, you have to get either hydraulic cutting machine or you get though with technology now, we have various type of cutting machine. We have plain cutting machine and we have travel shift cutting machine. And again, you can also use this manual device. It can be fabricated in Nigeria, or you can even get it from China. And this manual cutting machine is very effective because I know somebody that have it in Kaduna here. It's very effective. You can still use it to do your cutting. Once you have the cutting dice, it's possible. So the third picture, you can see some of the samples we cut. Like this is in my factory. We cut in 1 hour. We can cut 200 pairs of fiber, insole, back stiff. So next slide. This is a closing department, or some people might call it a stitching department. It's either called closing or stitching department. This is where the upper part is being prepared, fit or stitched together. Finishing of the cut compartment to produce an upper ready for lasting. and we have different machines involved in this process. And the closing, as the word implies, closing, that is where the upper is being prepared. So there are a lot of machines involved in this place. We have the skiving machine, we have the folding machine, we have punching machine, we have a stamping machine, stitching machine, eyeletting machine, and edge trimming machine. But even with this machine I mentioned, there are still more of those machines that I have not mentioned that are not here. But maybe we'll just focus on this one so that we will not confuse our listener. So next, we are going to explain some of the machines. This is skiving. Skiving is the reduction in thickness of certain edge of the upper in preparation of a folding or joining. And the reason for skiving is to reduce bulkiness, avoid discomfort in wearing, aid construction, and improve the appearance of the finished upper. It could be done with either skiving machine, or you can even use your hand to do it. And if you have a very good kitchen knife, strong cutting knife, knife that is made with steel, you can still improvise and use it as your skiving knife. And the last picture is, you see the edge is being skived. That is how to do skiving with the machine. So next slide. Okay, next slide is a folding machine. A folding machine, leather folding machine. This is the bending of already skived upper or leather by 3 millimeter or 4 millimeter. It can be done with the aid of automatic folding machine. The first one is automatic folding machine. Some of the machines, they use a hot glue, whereby you don't have to put glue, but some of them, again, you can still put your glue and you can still apply your glue at the area of the skived leather and it will still skive for you. And the third one, manual bending machine. I think this one is more, it will only serve those people that are into leather goods, like those people that make bags, wallet, purses, because of it's a straight folding machine. It's not like the other first one that you can enter all corners. So next slide. Okay, this is shoe upper pressing machine, or some people might call it roller machine. This machine helps to press or iron the upper, especially if you are reinforcing your upper material. That is, if you are reinforcing your leather, instead of repeatedly beating with hammer, this is advisable for those doing bulk production. You understand? This machine is advisable for those doing bulk production. Maybe you are producing like 500 pairs or 200 pairs in a day or even in a week. So this machine, if you have the financial strength, I think it's advisable to go for this machine. Then the manual rolling machine, you can use your hand to roll it. You understand? It will still serve the same purpose with the other big one. So next. Okay, this is a hole punching machine. That is punching machine. This machine or tools can be used to punch hole either for eyelet fitting or decoration on the shoes. Why I say decoration on shoes? You can use it for your Brooks. If you are doing an Oxford Brooks shoe, you can use it, and you can also use it for those design on the front, that is medallion. It can also be done with machine or manually. So we have a semi-automatic punch. This machine has two functions. You can do the punching at the same time, fix the eyelet. and the Hoa Holo hand punch. This is the normal one you find in our market. Then this is a hand puncher again. So those two, it is cost effective. You can get those two for your production. So next, okay, we have the stamping machine. This machine is used to create logo or customize brand name by impressing or pressing a stamp into the surface of the leather or synthetic material. And you understand, this machine is the machine that we use in making our customized names, that is logo. But they depend on the heat pressure that you are using. You understand? The degree of the heat that you are using. If the degree is too much, it might damage your material. So you have to study the machine before using it. So although this machine has about 3 different machines, there is the one we call a pneumatic stamping machine. That one is automatic. It uses air compressor. That is why it is called pneumatic stamping machine. Then we have the electric stamping machine. That one is also common in our market. Then the manual stamping machine too is also common and cost effective. Next slide. And this part is very important, and it's called the stitching. And earlier I told you in the closing, sometimes it is called closing or stitching room. The reason is that stitching is more important in the department and it has a lot of machine involved. So that is why you can see we have a flat straight same machine. It is used for stitching on the flat surface, and it has a industrial straight bed, and the manual, that is the normal one we see in the market, that is the butterfly sewing machine. It can also be used. I know of many people that have been using it for more than 10 years. That is what they use, and it's giving them results. Then we have the industrial one, and we also have post bed. It allows easy fitting and stitching on a partial close upper. Then the slender arm. We have slender arm. The slender arm stitching machine. It has an horizontal slender arm, and it is versatile machine used for sewing varieties of leather products such as bag, shoes, wallets, etc. And we also have zigzag machine. This machine is used for making decoration and joining 2 parts together, especially when you want to join the 2 quarter of a shoe upper together. So stitching is stitching machine. However, with advancement in the shoe industry, we have several machines that we have Bocasin stitching machine. We have a lot of machines now, but these ones, once you have this machine, I'll show you that you are good to go. Next slide. Okay, the eyeletting machine. The eyeletting machine is a machine for fixing the eyelet. We have device that looks like a screwdriver that you can use the hammer to tap on the eyelet. You understand? It's just like a screwdriver, though I have not put a picture here. Just like a screwdriver. That one too can serve you for those people that want to beat the cost of the cost. And we have automatic eyeletting machine and the plier hole lasting machine. Then this other machine again, manual lever eyeletting machine. It has several functions too. Even some of the tailors, they also use it. Fashion designer, they use it for buttonholes. So it's just for you to change the dice. It has dice that always come different size, different millimeter. You just change it depend on your eyeletting. So next slide. Okay, this edge trimming machine. Okay, the edge trimming machine is suitable for trimming edge of the bump line, trim rough edge, and it also trim the bottom. You can use it to trim soles and also trim the lining of the upper. You can also do it manually using your scissors. Next page. Okay, this is insole nail machine. This insole nail machine is very important when you want to, before lasting. It's a pneumatic machine that it uses air compressor. In factories, there is what they call central compressor. This central compressor can serve more than 10 machines. You understand? So this machine too is a pneumatic air machine. You understand? So you can use it to tack the insole to the last. So the manually again, you can use your hammer. You can use your hammer. Then next slide. Yeah, this is the most important part in shoemaking. The most difficult part in shoemaking. Most shoemakers complain about. If you ask them what is the most difficult part, they will tell you it's lasting. I don't know about you, but for me, the most difficult part in shoemaking is lasting. So lasting is the process of stretching upper to conform to the shape of the last. Used so that when it is removed, it will still retain the shape. It can be done automatically with a lasting machine or using your lasting plier or pincer. So in the picture here, you see this. The first one is toe lasting machine, while the other one is seat lasting machine. That is the back lasting machine. And the third picture is hand lasting plier. So next. Okay, this is roughing. This is roughing. Roughing is the roughing of the button. Is the roughing of the button lasted upper. You can use a filing machine or roughing machine, as the name implies, before applying adhesive. And you can see this. The first machine is a roughing machine. It has air. It has a dust collector behind it. When you are filing, the dust will. Hello.
Yeah, go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
This machine has a dust collector, and some of them also, interestingly, some of them come with oven too. You have that is it. It has multiple purpose. Then, however, again, this machine you can still use it for finishing also, but we'll get there. So the other one is a simple roughing machine. You understand? Simple roughing machine. The leg is being constructed, so you can decide to put it on a stool. Understand? So next slide. Okay, this is leather shoe oven. It is used for drying or reactivating of adhesive before attachment of soles, and it is also used for wrinkle chasing. You can also improvise by using your electric elements. Okay, I always advise shoemakers not to use direct flame or fire to reactivate sole. To reactivate sole before attachment. And this, the first one is heat setting machine. This heat setting machine, some of them has about 2 function. You can get the one that has a chiller. The moment you finish your, you put your soles, you can still use it to attach. Then after then, it will still pass through it as a chiller, whereby the next person over there can remove the shoe without even allowing the shoe to cool and to stay on ground, to cool down before. So the machine has multiple function too. And this the leather oven, this part is very interesting, because there is one of my lecturer once told me that the difference between a foreign shoe and Nigerian shoe is heat setting. Because most of our shoe in Nigeria, we don't heat set the upper before we attach. And that is why when you buy a local made shoes, after like 1 month or 2 months, when you see the shoe, you that produce the shoe, when you see the shoe, you not believe that you are the one that make the shoe, because it will be looking kind of awful. But when you see an Italian shoe that has been produced, even when the shoe stayed for like 3 to 5 years, even when the sole is being removed, the shape still retain the same shape. So the secret is heat setting. They always do heat setting on their upper before attaching. So next step, next. Okay, this is a blower or hot gun. It is used for burning of thread and wrinkle chaser. It can also serve the same purpose with the leather oven. You can use this if if you are not financially buoyant, you can still get this and use it before you reactivate it around your upper and the sole before you do your attaching. You understand? So it can also be used for drying out adhesive. Next, can you hear me? Okay. This is attaching and making. Attaching, the upper is finally attached to the sole mechanically or manually with an attaching machine or manual sole press. Okay, the first picture is hydraulic sole press. Hydraulic sole press. The second one is pneumatic sole press. Even though it is fabricated in machine, but this machine use air compressor. The advantage of this machine is use air compressor. And the third one is manual sole press also. This machine was fabricated in Kaduna, in Zaria, Nales precisely. And you can use, this machine uses jack. It uses jack. While the last one, you can use your energy to turn it around. All of them serve the same purpose. So even with the last one, that is the manual, you can still do your work in a low level. So next page. This is the lasting machine, or some people might call it last remover. This machine is a machine designed for removing last. It has a pneumatic delasting machine. You can use it uses air compressor too. That is why it's called pneumatic. And this is manual delasting machine. You can fabricate it manually and use it. Next slide. Then this is finishing. Finishing is done to upgrade the quality and the artistic appeal of the product appearance. The purpose of this operation is to remove any excess from the sole or the leather. You can do burnishing, polishing, waxing, and buffing of the entire shoe. You understand? So the first machine is called the sandpaper. That is the something around it is called buffing. You can use it to polish your shoe. You can use it to polish your shoe. While the other one is burnishing roller. You want to burnish the sole. Like maybe you are using leather sole and you want the sole to be glittering. You can also apply this burnishing roller. And the third machine also, as as you are seeing it there, it also the roller has different function. You can be changing them. You can put any kind of brush you want. Maybe you want to put buffing, sandpaper, or you can do it. They serve the same purpose. You understand? So finishing is a very important aspect in shoe making production. The next stage, okay, this is training department or showroom. Showroom. This department consists basically of treatment of the upper, lining, trimming, lacing, burning of the thread, putting of the stock, packaging, labeling, in readiness for dispatch to customers, etc. The treatment given is determined by the upper material involved and the method of construction. So that what I mean here is that if you are doing maybe if you are constructing the sole, you are going to do more of maybe burnishing of the sole and other things. But if you are using a unit sole, foreign sole, you don't need to burnish the sole. That is why it depends on the method of construction. Then I think we have come to the end of this section. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen,
Register.
Okay.
Hello?
Yes. You're still here. Okay, I thought you had left us finally. Okay, thank you. So we have some questions that some people have already put in the comment section that you're going to take. But before that happens, and gentlemen, Ohepo, who was having some network issues yesterday, is back on stream. So all those questions that you had for him yesterday, just reserve them. In the course of the evening, he will take a few of your questions, if not all. But Ogayasku, I want to start first of all. You mentioned something about, at the time when you were talking about folding, you mentioned folding 3mm and 4mm folds. I want to ask, is that the standard? Is that the standard distance for folding? And then what type of folding? Is it folding, let's say at the top line, for instance, or all foldings? What does that 3mm measurement really entail? That was the first question I wanted to ask about. Then the second question, and that's my own last question, is when you were talking about heat setting, as what is the thing that differentiates Nigerian made shoes from what one might have from Italy? Yeah. Can you let us just drill down a little bit more in details what that heat setting entails, and can you fathom an idea of, even if the machines that are used for heat setting are expensive, is there a way someone in Nigeria, someone who just has an outfit that overall is what about, let's say, a few hundred thousands of naira, what can that person do to improvise for a heat setting machine?
Okay. The first question was on folding. Actually, if you are given a stitching, if you are given a folding allowance, I believe is sometimes around 3 mm to 4 mm. If you are doing a folding around the top line. So that is why I said it can be 3 mm or 4 mm. Yes, I think it's not the standard, but I think it shouldn't be more than that if you are doing a folding. Yes. And again, the second question, we talk about heat setting. Yeah, one of my lecturer told me that heat setting is very important in the footwear production. And as I said earlier, once if you want to differentiate between a locally made shoe and a foreign Italian shoe, is heat setting. That is where you use you after finishing lasting the shoe, you see some wrinkles on the shoe. You see wrinkles on the shoe. You can use the hot blower. The hot blower, because I bought some years ago I bought a heat blower in Mushin that has a cup attached to it, just like where you put your water. So once you are heating, it's coming out like a steam on the shoe. You understand? So all those wrinkle, all those squeezing on the shoe, it will be chasing them away, and to make the shoe strong. You understand? It will make the shoe strong, and the shoe will be able to stay the test of time. You understand? Like maybe a year, 2 years, it will still retain the shape. But if you are not doing you are not doing a heat setting on your shoe, you discover that once you wear that shoe, maybe after three months, as a shoemaker, once you see your product, you deny that, no, I'm not the person that produced this shoe. I hope you understand what I'm saying.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Let me take one question that someone has asked related to closing. And that is the question asked by Chiwendo Ona Francisca. She said, you talked about stitching machines. Can one machine do all kinds of the stitches like the normal butterfly stitching? Now, even though I know the answer to this question, I'm going to leave you to answer it. But I'm going to give, so that for the benefit of people who are just joining the industry and the trade.
Yes.
Certainly, one machine cannot do everything. But if you were going to advise a beginner or someone who now wants to take the next leap in his craft, which machine would you advise the person to get, and why?
Okay, I will advise him to get a full bed machine.
Yeah.
As a beginner. But if he's not financially buoyant, he can still go for a straight flat bed machine. That is either a post bed, Protex, or butterfly. Because let me tell you one scenario. You know, I told you I have more than 20 years experience in this shoe. And you know, Rome was not built in a day. Actually, we started from somewhere, from one machine, before we get to this place. So when I was using my one machine, it may interest you that I was still doing Chelsea boot. Yes, I was still doing Chelsea boot with that machine. And the way I do it is that it's different from the way I do it now. The way I do Chelsea is that if I prepare the back part, I will insert my bastive, because I know I have a post bed or slender arm that will help me. But when I'm doing a Chelsea and I know that I don't have access to those machinery, I will not put bastive. Bastive will be the last thing I will put before I do my last. Yes. So there are so many methods.
Yeah. And you know that that's just to follow up on this talk about sewing machine. For me, I agree with you completely, sir. If you are a beginner, I assume you already have a flat bed, even if it is a blackhead butterfly or singer.
Yeah.
The next step, my advice would be get a post bed. Save up money and get a post bed. But when you are getting a post bed, Don't go and buy that motor that fabric people use, that very fast motor that runs as if it is going to from Okokomaiko to Kaduna in 1 minute.
That is the clutch. You're talking about the clutch motor.
Yes, leave the clutch motor.
Let me talk on that too.
Yes, please.
Yeah. On the clutch motor, I believe that is why sometimes you see some people will buy a machine and after a while they will tell you they want to sell it because they have already called several people. How do we reduce the speed of this machine? Somebody will tell them go and get there's a what do they call it?
Pulley. I don't know. That's small.
Yeah, the small one. They will tell you once you change it, it will be running on the. It will reduce the speed. In fact, I doubt it doesn't work that way. And you know, stitching is something that you have to. It's a careful something. You have to do it because your stitching is very important. In shoemaking, stitching is very important. So, I will advise people to get a servo motor. It's the new technology in town now. Digital servo motor, and the advantage of that motor, it can take even this. I pass my neighbor generator. You can use it to power it, and again, you can even install solar. You can also install solar, and you understand because, like in my own place now, all my machines I have converted them to energy servo. Even my skiving machine, I don't use the other machine. And I always help people to even get machine. Anytime I'm helping somebody to purchase machine, I cannot help you to buy with clutch motor. I always advise you to go for the servo.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you so much, sir. And you know, if you're out there listening, this is a very important point. You probably have saved up a lot of money. I'm going to buy industrial machine. And then you buy it, and for 1 year you won't use it because the very first time you tried to use it, it messed up your work. Your stitching was so out of place. Now it's possible to learn how to run on that speed. There are quite a number of people who have learned how to master that speed of the yes. But
some people are still using it and they are getting it right.
Yes, many people use it and get it right. But I can guarantee you, even those people, the day they use a servo motor, they themselves don't want to go back to a clutch motor. And the funny thing is, the servo motor is cheaper than the clutch motor. At least pound for pound. So my advice is always get to Mushi, get to wherever you buy. If they are selling you your industrial motor, tell them you don't want their clutch motor. They should take their clutch motor and give you the servo motor. The only problem is you have to be careful as you're buying the servo motor, buy a surge protector because it's usually fluctuations in electricity will affect it more.
That's again. If your generator is even high, it will affect it also. That is if your said the voltage is high, it will affect it. No power.
Yes. Thank you. Let me come to Ohepo. Ohepo was here yesterday, but he had some connection issues. Ohepo, how are you? How is your side this evening?
Yeah, good evening, everyone. My side has been great today, so I've been able to address the network issue that I was struggling with yesterday. So I'm super glad to be on the group, be on the session again.
Yes. Let me finish running through the questions for Oga Yasko so that he can go. Then I'll just ask you to respond to 2 or 3 questions from yesterday. Then, gentlemen, if you had any questions for Hepo yesterday, put them back in the comment section so that we can. There's quite a number of people who are asking you about computer-aided design or Hepo. So just prepare for that. And gentlemen, Ohepo is an expert in computer-aided design. If you have patterns that you want to do with precision, he does it on computer. Just send him a few naira notes, send him some money, and he'll get it done for you. Any type of design. He's my go-to guy when I need designs done by computer. So you send him some money and then tell him that you're coming from me. He'll give you a good price. All right, Oga Yasko, let's get back to the questions that we have on the session. This person says, when working with PU, that is polyurethane adhesive, sir, at what degree of heat or how many minutes is one supposed to heat the upper before attaching the sole? So yes, I get this question a lot on my channel. Many people ask, how long am I supposed to heat chemical gum before attaching it to? So for those of us who don't know, all this big English about PU and polyurethane adhesive, that's basically what they sell in Mushi as chemical gum. So Oga Yasko, how long and how hot for PU adhesive?
Okay. First of all, I always advise people, already I've said it, don't use direct light or direct heat, what we call stove or gas. Don't use it direct on your lasted upper, on your soles. You understand? So always try to get a oven, a shoe leather oven. I think that one is the best option for now. The best option. You can get it fabricated. Most of all these people that are doing a cake, that we have people that are fabricating it in Nigeria. You can just tell them the way you want it. You want the heat to be coming from up, then your soles will be on the ground. On the ground. So I will say at 100 degree.
That's boiling. The boiling point of water.
Yes, 100 degree. And
yes.
Better still, once you put it inside the oven, just allow it to stay for like let's say 30 seconds. You can remove it and attach.
Excellent.
And sometimes, like for me now that I'm doing a production at times, I don't always, what I do is that once I put the soles in oven, I only heat the soles. I don't heat the uppers. You understand? So I can put all the soles like 10 pairs at once inside the oven. So the moment I observe that the sole is, when you see the sole, you see some shining this thing on the way you apply the gum. At that moment, you can start gumming it. So what I do is that when I discover that the degree is off, I can even off the oven and continue attaching like that. Yes, so I cannot really tell you that this is at so time, but all what I will tell somebody is that even the most interesting about chemical gum, sometimes I can apply the chemical gum and still gum it the next day. It will never expire. Yeah, it will not expire. The only thing is that the only thing it will expire is when you apply hardener. You add a hardener to it. That is when you have to apply. You have to gum it that day, or else the following day, the strength of the gum will just get loose. The bond will lose.
Yeah, and this reminds me of something I had someone say, that there are factories in Italy that what they do, the last thing they do at the end of the working day is to apply glues, bottoming glues to both the upper and the sole. When they finish attaching it, after they have swept the factory for the day, they apply their glues and they go home. The first thing they do the next morning is now to attach the sole. So, and that just confirms what you have said here, that look, you can actually apply it and leave it to set and then come to the next.
Doesn't have expiring time.
Yes. That's a very, very, very good point to know. Thank you very much, sir. Let me also ask you about the hydraulic press. You mentioned about there's a hydraulic press and then there's the manual ones. that someone who wanted to automate his processes can get clicking knives, or the clicking knives, or the what's the other name for them again? Clicking knives.
Dice.
The
Cutting
cotton
dice.
dice, yes, cotton dice, and use them to cut both the fiber for the insole, the Nora, and the Mako
the
for
top
soles,
yeah.
even your leather. Let me
Yes,
ask you a question. Are there places in Nigeria where one can get those knives constructed to the patterns that they want?
Yes. Yes,
And
we have in Lagos, we have in Aba, and we have in Kano also. We have people in Kano that can. Yes.
Excellent. If
But,
you be
one interesting thing is that it's not everybody that can do it, because don't think a welder can do that for you. No, they are specialists that do that. They have the machine for producing that knife. Yes, it's not any other person. It's not just any other person, technician, that can do that.
Yes,
you have to be an expert here.
Yeah, gentlemen. So you've heard it. If you need knives,
okay. I want to, sorry, Victor. I want to ask a question with regards to that. So, because I know similar to those cutting dies, I know, like, from my own inquisitiveness, I've been able to, reach out to groups and stuff on Facebook. So you have like a good couple of people that do it from China. You have a good couple of people that do it from Japan, that I know. So what they request from you, they request you create like the vector file, you draw what you want to be created. That's more like the pattern. So they get to create it. So these people that fabricate in Nigeria, okay, do they have like these do they request, or how do they go about their process? Because I know I've seen some couple of ones in Mushi. So comparing the ions, like the metal they use, so the ones that come from China or from Japan, the thickness of the metal is very thin, right? Which is also sharp and made up of high quality steel. What I say in motion is more of like a thick metal sheet, and the shape are not that precise. So these people which one actually do they use, so that one can be clear on it, and it's going to be a selling point for them. If someone can create like the vector files for them, and they get to make those things according to the precision, because precision for me is something like that is what I look out for.
Okay. If I may get you are trying to get, asking of how the kind of the steel, because we call it steel, not iron, steel that they use for the cutting knife. Actually, I think they sell it, and you see the mouth, the edge is sharp. You can get an Italian. I think Italian is the best. Everybody know Italians are the best in the world when it comes to footwear. But recently, China too have started producing their own. You can get the China one. And again, these people that do in Nigeria, I think they have not automated the process. For instance, now if you want to produce a knife, maybe your location is in Kaduna, they will ask you to send them the pattern by road. You understand? But unlike China, they will always tell you to scan it and send it by email, which I know maybe your guest there will explain more on that. Then they can put it exactly the way you send it. They will produce it exactly the way you send it. But Nigeria, we don't have that technology. Most of the people doing it, they don't know about this technology. So maybe your guest there can also explain more, since you say he's a computer analyst.
We are getting there. At least for starters. Yes. Actually, the aim of this session for me is what people, you don't have to have 1 million naira in your bank account, where someone can start making incremental progress. By the time you land a big job, then you can go abroad and import the precise ones. But at least, Martin Luther King said, if you can't crawl, walk. If you can't fly, run. If you can't run, walk. If you can't walk, crawl.
Yeah.
Last, be doing something. So my own is let's make progress. So, but the key point that I take away from here is that there are places where it can be done in Nigeria, and
Yes.
our guests and audience should avail themselves of the opportunity of having those things done. At least try your hands on it and get it done. Ohepo, there's a question here for you that I want to
Okay, all
highlight.
right.
Yes. Festus Moses says, I
Okay.
would like to ask Ohepo, what did he use to get the head shape of the cowboy cap he made and posted on his channel?
Okay, that's an interesting question. That's an interesting question, right? And my approach to that will be reverse engineering. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you. Go ahead.
Hello.
I can hear you loud and clear. Yes. I can hear you loud and clear.
Can you hear me?
We can
Yes,
hear you.
please. Yes.
Hello.
We can hear you.
Go
Can
ahead.
you hear me? Hello.
Yes, yes, we can hear you.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Uh-oh, I think he has had the same issues again. All right. While we wait for him to come back on, let's look at a few other questions here. We've looked at the question on polyurethane adhesive. It said this person says you talked about. Okay, we've answered that question on stitching machines. So I think we're pretty much in a good place. Okay. Can one person learn how to operate all of these machines? Or you have to employ someone? I would think that at least as when you are starting out, what you necessarily don't need to use all of the machines. You necessarily don't have to have all of the machines, really. My thinking is what you can do is to find out which machine will you get that will speeding up your operations the most.
Yes.
That will give you the best advantage immediately for you to start seeing results. And then from that, get that machine, learn how to use it, and then go from there. So for me, for instance, the machine that I have just gotten, okay, I ask you if you remember, I asked you about where to get clicking knives.
Yeah.
So I have now designed the pattern that I'm sending to that gentleman to fabricate clicking knives for me. And that's because I didn't go to buy a hydraulic press. I got a welder to fabricate for me something that looks like that sole press.
Yeah.
But now with a flat base so that I can use it to cut my fiber, I can use it to cut my leather, and I can use it to cut leather for small leather goods that I want to produce, like wallets and bags. So that's an option. You don't necessarily have to get all of the machines that Ogayasko has talked about. All you need is find out the one that will help your operations the most and use that. So Ohepo, I think you can continue from where you left off.
Yeah.
The question about you were talking about reverse engineering the carbon goods.
Yeah. So the simple answer, like, to the question is reverse engineering. Okay. So even Japanese, like, if they are the first people that come to my mind, because from the trains that developed to their planes and all that, it was all reverse engineering, which they bought like the main thing from the US. They tear apart them, they look at the components and start making them. Okay. So for me, how I did the hat was to actually get a hat, right? Probably I ordered it from eBay. So the hat came in. It was even made with it was not made with leather. So I had to tear apart the hat and understand the component, drafted a pattern, and started it up from there.
So I think that should answer that question very clearly. Ohepo, yeah, so one more question. Okay, let me see. Okay, someone here says, please, can you connect me with a shoe dealer where I can purchase plastic shoe lash, shank, and female heels in the north? I am in Mina. Okay, if you are in the group, Mr. GSM, speak to Oga Yasko in the WhatsApp group. I think he'll be very, very glad to help you out in that regard. Oga Yasko, so he's a trustworthy person. Like he mentioned, he has been in this industry for 20 years. So he's a well-known face. I don't think you stand any risks, whatever, dealing with him. Let me get to you, Ohepo. You know, I just wanted you to at least when we start so that we can start rounding off for this evening. We've been here for 1 full hour and 18 people are still on the live stream. Gentlemen, you guys are the bomb. Thank you very much. Ohepo, I was asking a question yesterday before your network issues came up about what is the main driver, for you as a leather business? Okay. What determines which products you choose to, focus on and the ones you choose to let fall behind? Generally summarize that for people who are looking at transiting from hobby to business. What kind of products should they be focusing on, and what should what should give them that lever to move into business? Let's hear your thoughts on that.
All right. So first of all, I would say it varies with client, right? So the same products that one can do in Nigeria here, and maybe the US, there might be different things or different items that sell for different people. Okay, so first of all, you have to understand your client, right? So for Nigeria, I look at regular day items, right? Items that people use always. So for example, especially the hat now. So our people here, we are not like that cowboy culture kind of person. So the hat, something like the hat now really don't sell, but people that feel like, okay, I like outfit with hats, I will just get. So those people are very selective. So you cannot quantify hats with belts, with wallets, with a credit card. These are like regular items that, okay, someone wants to get it for a souvenir, for a gift. So you factor in all those things. You look at your environment. Those are the day-to-day things that people use. Okay, so something like wallet, something like belts, those are things that people always get. And they are very unique that one can give them as items. So things like that, help you to better, guide you to do, stuff related to that, so that you don't go do something that people are not buying. Okay. So in as much as you do one or two things to add to your collections or more like your catalog, you have them, you can do them. Okay. It's good to also lay emphasis on items that, okay, these are regular items that people always need. So that's drive for me. Understanding your client, understanding where you are, understanding what works for you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And I'll say in plain English, focus on what sells. In this country, in Nigeria here like this, gift items will sell, right? This is August. Between now, September and October, there will be a lot of conferences. So you can be sure that there's an industry around conference bags. Those people who go to conferences, they like to give souvenirs. So there is an industry on leather souvenirs, those card wallets, jotters, notebook holders, those kind of things sell. Then of course there's an industry around school shoes, and then there's an industry around military and paramilitary wares. So if you build competencies around those industries, like the person who was asking what machines should I get, if you focus on any one of those industries and focus on the machines that would help you produce more of those things, then you can be in business around those areas. So thank you very much, Ohepo. Thank you very much, Ogayasko. I'm not sure there is any question here that we haven't taken. If there is any, please pardon me. It wasn't because of oversight.
I'm seeing
okay, somebody here. Just one last question for Ohepo. Okay. He said, Ohepo, please, sir, apart from Corel Draw, what software do you use for your pattern design? I think what he means here is design. And how can I get the software? Yeah.
All right, so it's all boils down to what you can do, right? Softwares will always be softwares, okay? So it's left for you to understand what you're convenient for using. I'm comfortable using CorelDRAW, right? There are different softwares out there, expensive ones and free ones, okay? So for free ones, right, you can look into the likes of Inkscape. Inkscape is free, but for beginners, right, it might not be flexible for you to use because it's open source, okay? So you're at the mercy of the developers, right? If there's no fund to develop free stuff, if there's no funds for it, so you're stuck with what the developer have for now. But if you have the money, you can spare on, like, readily available ones in the market, such as CorelDRAW. I've been using CorelDRAW for a good number of years, so yeah, I can just wake up from sleep and I know what to do. So it's obvious, and there's no specific software, right? If you're comfortable with it, just look out for vector softwares, okay? So there are also 3D softwares that can do the same job, okay? But your level of understanding will be different, and your level of expertise too on it will be different. So these are things you factor in. But for a beginner and someone that just want to get the ball rolling, just look out for vector softwares, okay? That can, you can draw lines, you can draw curve. Those are examples of like vector softwares. Any software like that, you can do that, okay? That is running on the system. So there are no specific one. But for me, I'm comfortable using CorelDRAW. It works for me, and stuff like that. So if you want to go into the 3D side, you can look into Clo 3D. Clo 3D is a very nice software. Sometimes I use it once in a while, especially when I'm working with 3D objects. If you want to factor, you want to pull out that flat surface from 3D objects, Clo 3D is my go-to tool. You understand? So it's all voice down to your specialty. Yes.
Excellent. Ohepo is a CorelDRAW and Clo 3D man. Me, I'm an Inkscape and Blender man. So he's far better than I am. So if you are looking for advice,
Yes.
of course you know where to go. Follow the man way no road, and the man way no road is Ohepo. And I guess the last question for today, somebody said, Sayasko, what will you say about CNC cutting machines? I guess Ohepo, after Oga talks about this, Ohepo, you can chime in on it, because I know you do from CNC as well. So Oga, let's hear. What would you say about CNC cutting? I think you're muted. Unmute yourself.
How?
Okay, go ahead, please.
Okay.
You're unmuted now, yes.
Okay. In designing your pattern, I think it's the automated footwear production. That is okay. Sorry, you are talking about computer aided or CNC?
CNC, these laser cutting machines.
Okay, the laser cutting machine. That has the laser cutting machine. Okay, I think is the latest innovation, or what will I call it? Automated way of designing your patterns. But actually, we have people that have it, because I've seen it. We have people in Lagos that have it, and there is a factory in Benue where I've seen that machine also. So that machines, I think it's work with software, just like the way you are talking. It's what you garbage in, garbage out. It works with software, and again, it also help in cutting. You can use it to design your pattern at the same time to do the cutting of the pattern. Yeah. So it's the latest innovation. Yeah. But we are getting there. I don't think that technology is going to be easy for us in Nigeria. Even
you want to type it,
we are still finding it difficult to use.
Ohepo? CNC.
So that was a nice and interesting question. I'm sure this question is coming for someone that is actually preparing for the future, and that is actually where we're heading to, hopefully. So there's something I used to tell myself, right? When we start having, there have been a lot of talk about industrialization, Nigeria, creating jobs and stuff. I always tell my close friends something, that by the time that our people, the import and export people, start bringing in more technical this machine that I want to list. Start bringing in CNC machine, right? 3D printing machine, laser machines, and what again? I think, okay, these three. That is when we can now start talking about industries, because these are machines that you can use to create other machines. Okay, so in terms of a CNC, I'm sure maybe the person is, because CNC, it depends on the CNC. So CNC, particularly, it has more of a machine with a rotary stuff on it. It's mostly for probably engraving, or maybe doing like some 3D intricate designs. Okay, but you can talk about laser. Okay, laser, for instance, it's the ones that, like, just like our guy Yasko said, there are people that do it in motion, which sometimes too, those are the industrial ones. Okay, you have them for like 1 meter by 2 meter. Those are big ones. And what do they use mostly for? They use the cut acrylic. Okay, so most times when I take job to them, okay, I have this pattern I want to cut. Okay, they'll say that no, machine only cuts acrylic, all those things that they use for signage and stuff. But funny enough, this machine can even cut more than acrylic. It can cut wood, it can cut leather, but they just feel like, no, it's not great to sabi do, so it's left on that part. You get, so it's more like, I'll see it as a technical gap, or maybe a technical know-how kind of a thing. You don't know about it, but when you try to convince them, okay, this thing can do it, to be as if they'll tell you that, okay, the leather the smoke from there used to cover the lens of the laser. So there's some funny things, but for me, it's a good idea, right? If you want to go that global scale, okay, getting a laser machine for cutting is perfect. Okay, but sometimes you get feedback that, okay, it leaves char. That is that bond, because the laser works with the principle of burning. Okay, you're using the laser itself. I've gotten the acronym, but you can look it up on the internet. So you're using heat, but at a concentrated point. So your precisions are accurate down to millimeter, 0 point something millimeter or 1 millimeter. So it's so accurate. So whatever you design, for me as a CAD designer, right? Whatever I design on the computer, if I move it to the laser machine and I place my leather underneath, my cut will be precise according to what I've designed on the computer, which is a go ahead, which is a great point to stand on, because what you design is what you're getting. Just like Oga Yasko said, that garbage in garbage, whatever you feed in on your pattern, the output will provide on the laser for you, and to be accurate, as sharp as what you have designed. Okay, so if you have the fonts, the industrial ones is a bit on the high side, but not so kind. The Chinese brothers are also making smaller scale ones, where you can have them like 1 meter by maybe 50 centimeter. That's 100 centimeter by 50 centimeter, which is a fair deal, because most of my patterns, if I'm meant to cut it like a piece, I don't think I have a pattern that is as that big. So you can load it. If you want to cut like wallets or small items, you can cut. You're talking of minutes, and also there's also an emerging market, right? The customization market, because a lot of people, okay, I want you to make this item for me, but I want you to write my name on it, or I want you to write this person's name on it. The laser machine does that job perfectly. So if you have the money and get the point, get the laser, you can go for it. It's a nice, you get your money from that investment, I promise.
And I guess that's a good point to stop today's event. If you take a look at this here, this was customized for me on laser. This too, I actually did it for myself when I hit 2,000 subscribers on YouTube. And gentlemen, I guess this is also a good point to tell you, if you've not already done so, if you've not already subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel right now. And Ohepo also has a YouTube channel. Head over to Ohepo Leathercraft. Am I correct? It's Ohepo Leathercraft, right? Your channel on YouTube is Ohepo Leathercraft. Ohepo.
Yes, Ohepo Leathercraft.
Ohepo Leathercraft. So while you are subscribing to this book, head over to Ohepo Leathercraft and also subscribe. Okay, Yasko, you are not a YouTuber like us now.
No, I'm not.
So
I'm not.
the good thing. So why you need to subscribe is that I have a lot of plans. Okay, coming up, a lot of teaching, a lot of tutorials, a lot of tips, a lot of tricks.
Yeah.
So I'm actually putting in items to make sure that okay, when I'm pushing out videos, my videos will be fine enough for everyone to listen. So if I'll be more than glad to have you on the channel, and there'll be a lot of knowledge sharing there. Trust me. So you need to subscribe to the channel.
Thank you very much. So, ladies and gentlemen, we come to the close of the second session of the Leather Technology and Trade Online Summit. I must say thank you very much to Oga Yasko, Adamu Usman of Yasko Footwear Technology. Thank you very much for sharing your knowledge. I know that in the WhatsApp group, many people are going to be reaching out to you, especially for contacts, both in the north and in Lagos here, of how they can get local fabricators of some of these machines that you have talked about. Please avail our delegates all of your knowledge. And then Ohekbo, thank you for coming in on short notice just to clarify some of the issues that were outstanding from yesterday.
Yeah.
So I'm very, very grateful to everyone.
It's a pleasure.
Yes, it's almost 10:30 now. I wish you all a good night rest. See you in the WhatsApp group. And then tomorrow we would also get back to talk about how to use social media. And then if we have Dedeman, we would have also a technical session on custom soap construction. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. God bless you. See you on the next one. Bye-bye. God bless you.